And number 35 asked me to figure out if these vectors are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. By the way, what's the vector word for perpendicular?
Octagonal.
Orthogonal.
Whatever.
Okay, so we've got problem number 35. Everybody's paying attention. This will be a test question on Friday for sure, a quest question, I should say. Number 35. The two vectors are 15 and negative 12 and negative 4, 5. Now the easiest way to do these, Maya, is just to look at their slopes. This vector goes over 15 and down 12. Negative 12, 15, which you might want to reduce to 3, goes into there, so it'd be negative 4/5. Then this vector has a slope of 5 over negative 4. Now at first glance, we get excited about this, but this is a neither. Because if you're going to be parallel, you have to match. They clearly don't match. And if you're orthogonal, what does that mean? Opposite reciprocals. And we have reciprocals, but we don't have the opposite, right? So that's it. Oh, by the way, while I'm thinking of it, we're going to celebrate Pi Day on Monday. And everybody else is celebrating it on Friday. But because we have kids on retreat, we're going to wait and celebrate on Monday.
Oh, yeah.
So mark your... Well, you have to bring it in, but you get points for bringing it in.
How much?
It doesn't have to be pi, it can be anything circular.
Wait. So cookies?
Yep. So put it on your calendar, Monday is the day. So over the weekend, you can make something or buy something round and bring it in.
And how many points do we get?
Doesn't matter.
Oh, we get points. Oh, jeez.
All right,
Jabron, you gonna bring
Maya,
pie?
does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I'm gonna bring in a nice bean pie. You never had bean pie? You never had bean pie? Bean pie is delicious.
Negative.
You get it from the black
Opposite
Muslim
reciprocal.
market.
One
It's delicious. They're kind of special. Kind of special, but they're fine.
Anything else? Anything else? Anything else from last night's homework?
23.
23. 2, 3, 3 halves, negative 1. This is kind of, guys, this is kind of the same thing, Bryce, except this time they're telling us they are orthogonal. So that means perpendicular. One way to do this would be just to do the dot product. Because what happens when you do the dot product for orthogonal vectors? You get 0. So one way to do this would be to just go ahead and dot product. What's 2 times 3 halves?
That's 6 times, which is 3.
3. What's 3 times negative 1?
Negative 30.
So that gives us 0.
Negative 30.
So that's one way of doing the problem. You could also do the slope. The slope of this one's 3 halves.
Don't let me.
The slope of this one is negative 1 divided by 3 halves, which is negative 1 times 2/3, or negative 2/3. So a slope of 3 halves and a slope of negative 2/3, opposite reciprocals, yeah. And that was your job here, to show that they are perpendicular. All right, anybody else? Maya?
So could you, just with the riser and run, like, you can't really show work, but
Nope.
if you just put that down.
Just put that down, yep. Okay, all right, get your note sheets out. We got a short lesson today. I'd like to get through it and then hand back some tests.
And then give us 3 times.
You can hold on to them
What?
and stay from
And then
last.
give us 3 times.
Well, if we parameter
It's in the
test.
past, it's in the past.
Miss Ford, why do you have to
Where's
do
Mom?
routine now?
No, I won't be.
Ron? Note sheet 51. 6.3. Eliminate the parameter and identify the curve. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take both of these equations and we're going to get t by itself. T is the parameter. So if on this equation, if I get t by itself, that becomes x minus 1 equals t. Would you agree with that?
Yes, ma'am.
This one, if I get t by itself, whoops, I'll have y minus 3 equals negative 2t, so t equals y minus 3 over negative 2.
Plus.
Okay, what should be plus?
I thought that y, that'd be y plus or something divided by negative.
No, it's y minus 3. I'm moving that over, yeah. Now, what was my purpose of getting both of these equal to t? What can I do now?
You can do whatever you want.
Now I can set them equal to each other.
Yes, that's wrong.
So x minus 1 equals y minus 3 over negative 2. Now there's other ways to do this, so you may have a different thought, and that's okay. This is just one way that will work every time. That's kind of a mess. What would you think maybe to do? Multiply by negative 2. So negative 2x plus 2 equals y minus 3.
Yes, that sounds accurate.
Let me add 3 to both sides. So I get y equals negative 2x plus 5. Have you ever seen an equation that looked like that before?
mx plus b.
Y equals mx plus b, which means it's what? It's a line. So when the directions say identify the curve, they want you to say it's a line, or it's a parabola, or it's something else. So this is what a line looks like. Y equals mx plus b.
So would you say it's a
You
line?
say it's a line. Oh.
Yeah, I had no idea what we were aiming for.
Okay, what we were aiming for is, instead of having 2 equations, we want to have 1.
Okay.
So we solved them for t, set them equal to each other. And then we kind of cleaned it up a little bit till we could recognize it.
So it's like recognizing
What shape it is, yep. Identify the curve means tell us what shape it is. All right, let's look at the next one. All right, what's your thought on this? How do you think we should do this problem?
Okay, you can just get T
Get
by
the
itself.
t's by themselves. Now be really careful on this one, you guys. When you subtract 2, you're going to get x minus 2 equal to negative t. So now you got to divide by negative 1. Do you see that?
And I get you plus 2.
Negative x plus 2 equals t. That's right. You really have to be careful with all these negatives floating around. This one's easier. Why do I keep doing that? So y minus 3 equals t. So you have this equation and this equation. Now see how they're both equal to t? So we can set them equal to each other. Y minus 3 equals negative x plus 2.
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe add 3 to both sides.
Go ahead.
What have we got? One more time. We have a...
If we're always aiming to get y by itself, won't we always end up with a line?
No. We'll do the next problem and I'll show you.
Oh, geez.
problem looks a little more intense.
Okay.
Giggle.
Sure.
I'll slap it.
Now, this one I'm going to do a little bit differently because I don't really want to get this t by itself, because in order to get that t by itself, what would I have to do? Yeah, I don't want to mess with that. So I'm going to take this second one and I'm going to mess around with it a little bit. Gibran, we are solving the second equation for t. All right, so everybody kind of see if you can follow along what I did here. Now this is what t equals. Any idea what I might do with it? I might plug it in right here. So what would that equation then be?
X equals negative y plus 2 squared.
Yes. X equals negative y plus 2 squared.
And that turns into x equals y squared plus 4.
No, it's a FOIL, very good. So that's negative y plus 2 times negative y plus 2, so that would be y squared.
Maybe next time.
Minus 2y minus 2y plus 4. So y squared minus 4y plus 4 when we FOIL. I'll let you catch up a minute. Is this a line?
Quadratic.
It's a parabola, that's right. Remember equations that have 1x squared, or 1 squared in them? This happens to be a y squared.
I think you're smart, don't you?
But equations that have a squared in them, 1 squared only, those are parabolas. Remember the shape of a parabola?
Yep, it's a little.
This one actually goes sideways. I don't expect you to know that right now. We'll learn that in the very next unit we do.
So you already know how to graph that just by looking at that equation.
But I'm a teacher.
Yeah, you're a little more advanced.
there's only gonna be one square.
Yeah, but the other part of the problem was to eliminate the parameter, so you still had to do that work.
It's just a graph. It was y squared minus 4y plus 4.
Right, one more.
Can I do the next one on the board? I can do it.
If you can do it responsibly and quietly, seriously. All right, Gibran is doing D on the board. Would you do D at your seats?
Good luck, Gibran.
We only have one more thing to learn here.
I'm not playing T squared.
Oh, no, that's not.
All right. Gymnastics.
What did you do? Tell me what you did. No. Let's take, this is what T equals.
Oh, just push it.
Yes, now we're gonna FOIL it out. So he's gonna do this FOIL. Okay, Gibran is doing a good job here. If you're struggling a little bit at your seat, we're going to take that top equation and get t by itself. So t equals x minus 1. Then he's going to take that and plug it in right here.
Oh, good idea.
Now he is in the process of FOILing. And
Start over.
This would be a plus 2, so that was gone. Now it's right. It's a problem.
Okay.
Price.
Oh, you're right.
It's a real
That's a
thing. It's
one.
really
Another
for-
one, that one.
Now I know how
Actually, it's
you
a
were
minus
feeling.
1. Is that what you said, Abby?
Wait.
I really didn't understand it till now.
Plus
Price,
1.
I remember everything.
It's a negative 1 times a negative 1.
I'm not gonna lie, I've never drawn a P like that, and I like it. I like it.
Okay. Now we have one more topic. Then we'll be ready to get some tests back. Number 2, write the parametric equations. Now, boys and girls, these are called parametric equations. So our goal is x equals y equals. That's what we're shooting for. And it's the line through these 2 points. Now, you have never done this before in your life. So I need you paying really close attention so we don't have any errors, any confusion, okay? This is going to be a 2-step problem. The first step, we're going to write what's called the vector form of the line. Now this is very simple. It's built like this. The vector form of the line says x comma y equals a parentheses plus t times another parentheses. That's our format every time. So one more time, when we're writing the equation of a line, that's what the directions tell me. We're going to start with x comma y equal to parentheses plus t times parentheses. In this first parentheses, you are going to put one of the points. It does not matter which one. So I'll just use 1, 2. You could use that one and it would still be right.
Because you decided to do it, but the thing before, is it either gonna be a line or a parabola?
For us right now, there's only curves we've studied. Now, in this second one goes the vector from this point to this point. So if we call this A and this B, then this is going to be vector AB. Now remember, you're going from 1 to 3, 2, and you're going from 2 to negative 4.
-6.
There you go. Now, because it's got a vector in it, it's called the vector form of the line. This is not the answer, this is step 1.
Wow.
Now, step 2 is this, gives me the actual answer. Very simple. Do you notice how you have 3 parentheses? Write an equation from the first part of every parentheses. So in other words, x equals what? 1 plus 2t.
Oh, I see what you did there.
X equals 1 plus 2t. Now what is y going to equal?
2
Y
plus
equals
2 minus
T6.
2 minus 6t. Y equals 2 minus 6t. And there are your parametric equations of the line.
So
That's
we
it.
gotta find the parametric, that's
That's
it.
it.
Okay.
That's the answer.
I feel like on the test you gonna tell us to find them, but that's all.
All right, let's do the next one. It says, write the parametric equations of the line. So I know that my goal is to have x equals and y equals. That's my goal. But I can't get there until I write my vector form. So it's just, I've done so many of these, it's automatic. I hope it becomes automatic for you. Your vector form is just x comma y equals parentheses plus t times parentheses. Now, what do I put in the first parentheses?
360.
Either one of those points. I think I'll keep the positive ones. I'll put 3, 6. Either point. What goes in the second parentheses? The vector. This is the vector. Do not put the other point in. That would be wrong. You need the vector. So we're going from 3 to negative 1. Negative 4. We're going from 6 to negative 2. Negative 8. Now that's the vector form. Now we can go to our parametric form. X equals what? 3 minus 14. Everybody seeing where that's happening? And y equals 6 minus 8. Okay, we'll do one more together. And then you can do the last one on your own. We'll see if you got it right. Okay, so here we go. We'll do one more together. Our points are negative 2, 0, and 1, 1.
Huh?
Our goal is to come up with x equals and y equals. Those are the parametric equations. So Abby, how do we start?
X comma y you just put like just these negative 2 comma 0
You can put negative 2 comma 0 there.
plus 20. And then the other point.
No, 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 no.
Sorry,
No. Do not put the other point here. What has to go here?
Vector.
A vector. You might want to write the word under that parentheses to remind you. You're going from negative 2 to 1.
That's 30. Tray ball.
0 to 1.
That's 1.
Would the answer be different if you, like, I put the 1 in?
It'll look different. It'll represent the same line, believe it or not. And that's just up to me. When I'm grading your paper, I just have to be aware that your answer can look differently. Maya?
that first one doesn't matter which one you use.
No, you can put in point A or point B. That's what Maya was just saying. Now, the way my answer looks will be different.
As long as it solves out.
Right, as long as it solves out okay. What are you looking for, Mrs. Bethurham? Oh, I got one more box down here.
Really just gave her a fiber bar. Get out of our class.
That's the last box. Okay, so now we're ready to write our equation. All right, so what are our parametric equations? So what are they? X equals? Negative 2 plus 3t. Now, if you use the other point, yours would look like 1 plus 3t, right? Yeah. Mine is 0 plus t. yours would be 1 plus t. This is okay, and this is okay. Don't need one of them, you don't need both, but they're both okay.
Alright, see, like, mine, I got -2, because I put in another thing, so is that okay?
Oh, no, you should get -3 here. No, because you're still going from this vector to this vector. Or, I mean, this point to this point. So you're going from -2 to 1. That should be 3.
So if I'm going to 1 to -2,
Oh, you want this way?
Yeah.
Okay, then you should also have a -1 here.
a negative.
Well, you're going from 1 to 0. Yes, and that would be okay, as long as you have both negatives. That would be okay. All right, would you do number B or letter D on your own quickly? No. Everybody is working on D, hopefully coming up with an answer. Now, anybody get this answer or this answer?
That one.
Anybody get a different answer than either one of those two?
Wrong.
No, there's a possibility. Maya, what did you have?
-2 plus t. Oh. Oh, never mind, I got that.
Bryce, get your head up.
But you got it right though, that's a good
I know, but,
Okay. All right, I'm going to hand back, Thomas, would you turn that off? I'm going to go ahead and hand back our last